Trinity on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots around my neck. Self-respect, when you out of line, you put
and we are
yourself
live.
in
Welcome
check.
back to Mescalone Moguls. It's your boy, the one with the Scarface, boy Scarface. And I want to thank you guys again. Welcome back to another episode. Shout out to you guys who keep supporting the channel. Not just the YouTube, the podcast, the TikToks. Now I'm posting on Facebook. If you haven't followed me on Facebook, go follow me there. I'm posting everywhere. Shout out to everyone who's booked the one-on-one sessions with me. The, bought merch. I'm wearing one of the shirts right now too, by the way. Scarface. It says no excuses on the back because we don't make excuses out here. We stay hustling out here. Just shout out to all you guys for all the support. It really does mean a lot. And I'm always motivated to continue, making stuff like this for you guys. And especially since you guys, really love it, enjoy it. And not only that, you're able to, it's good advice for you. So, and we also got voted for the best podcast here here locally. So if you guys can, I'm also linking down in the description. Follow me on Instagram. If you guys can vote once a day, let's try to win that. Also, I've been voted for best photographer. What's up, your boy? So if you guys can vote for me there too, I'd really do appreciate it. But anyways, today we're gonna get into this episode just because a lot of people ask me about opening up. I mentioned it on my lives, that, I don't talk to my ex at all, but shout out to her for helping me open up and talk about some certain things. And people ask me oh, what did she do? What were some of the things that she she did to you to, not only, do we have a list here of things that you can try, but I'll also try to, cause it's really hard. It happened in the moment, trying to open up, trying to talk how you feel, actually talk about your feelings, because it's really hard. Or even girls too, if you've been brought up not really being able to express your emotions, be able to talk about certain things, it just sits inside of you, Again, I've never mentioned this to people, but yeah, I've broken down a few times, we're not perfect. We have our issues, and sometimes you just break down. And shout out to her. I remember the first time she actually made me open up, I broke down. You know what I mean? There was a lot of pent up emotion that I just needed to talk about, And again, fellas, if you guys are listening to this, it's okay to talk about your feelings. It's okay to express how you feel. At the end of the day, it's worse just keeping it all stored up inside of you, because that's doing nothing. And eventually it gets too much to a point where some people potentially hurt themselves, rely on drugs, rely on something to try to get rid of that pain or frustration or whatever it is. They try to. It's okay to talk to people. People are here to listen to you, especially if you have a solid partner next to you. She's just trying to help you out. She's not trying to judge you. She's not trying to, or he's not trying to judge you. If they really want you to open up and talk to them, they really want to, get to know you more, get to see what's actually making you feel like that, and especially in a relationship, sometimes you don't know how to express how you feel at the moment. Maybe you have some sort of funk going on and it's affecting your relationship. So now the girl's curious of what's going on. So it's okay, fellas, to talk. It's okay to express your emotions to whoever you're with, because at the end of the day, they want the best for you. If this person is a lifelong partner with you, she's gonna want to help you, know your traumas, know this and that. So it's okay to open up, And even though I say that now, I know it is difficult for some guys to open up. And so we'll get into this list. This is a list I put together, and hopefully I can add to it about how I was able to open up. So we'll get into it. First of all, create a safe space. Make sure you sorry, there's a big old glare on my thing. Create a safe space. Make sure your partner feels safe and comfortable around you. Let him know that you are there to listen and to support him. That way he can trust you with his feelings and thoughts. And it's hard. There's no exact way to do this, if that makes sense. There's no exact way to, hey, follow ABC and you'll get this. And that way that person can open up to you, For example, I know a lot of the times when my ex used to try to have these conversations with me, it was in the bedroom, just in the bedroom, in our bedroom. She would just kind of just try to find what's going on with me. Because again, we all have our issues. We all have different things that we're dealing with and different, because it can be a bunch of different things inside of us that are bugging us, and we just keep it all pent up. But every time she would try to talk to me, it wasn't like around people. It wasn't like trying to embarrass me or anything like that. It was just usually just me and her. It was just me and her. She would just try to get me to feel comfortable enough to the point where I would talk to her, and don't get me wrong, this did not come easy. It's not like, oh, like I'm gonna create a safe space and now this person is gonna open up. No, that's not how it works. I do remember, even though we were in our bedroom, didn't mean that I wanted to talk, about certain things. Hey, what's wrong? Nothing. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. And like things like that. You've heard it from guys. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Like, oh, it's nothing really. Nothing really. No, all this is like saying that, yeah, there's something bugging me, but I really don't want to talk about it because we don't talk about it. Like guys don't talk about their emotions, their feelings, or like if they're super upset about something, they don't know how to open up about it, And so like she would not come at me, but she would tell me like, hey, like what's wrong? And I'd be like, oh, nothing's wrong. Like, and just so on and so forth. But she was pretty adamant, kept asking. And my responses would be like snapping back at her, That's why I said it's not easy. Like you have to have patience with the guy. Like everyone's different, but I'm just explaining how I was. I do remember like snapping back at her, like be like, it's because of this, like I would do stuff like that, and kind of because I was to the point where I felt annoyed of being asked the same thing over and over, if that makes sense. She was asking me over and over the same things, and it would get to a point where I get so annoyed of it and just instantly like a response, And then from there, like it's almost like an onion. You know what I mean? You got to peel these layers off, especially depending on the guy. Every guy is going to be a little bit different. Some guys may crack a lot easier. Me, of course, I know for a fact that I did not crack very easy, and they all came in snaps. It wasn't like a friendly, oh, well, this is what's bugging. No, it was like, it's because of this, like upset because I was to the point where I was super annoyed of being asked the same things over and over. That's why I said shout out to her for having the patience to be able to do that, which helped me today. Now if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you what I don't like. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you this and this. I don't have an issue talking about it now because, or if something's bugging you or if someone's bugging you and stuff like that, you're able to open up to somebody, okay? It's not all, yes, of course, try to find a safe space, but even when you find a safe space, it's not going to be easy as that. Like, oh, hey, what's wrong? We're in a safe environment. We built a fort, and now you're able to talk to me. No, there's more to that, So if you really like this person, just know you're gonna have to put a little bit of time and effort into it. And then I know, like, if at the end of the day, again, shout out to her for having the patience to do that with me. And every guy might be a little bit different. They might just get upset and shut down right away, but just keep trying. And fellas, if you're listening to this, if your girl sends you this, just know that she's just wants the best for you. She wants you to open up. She wants you to talk. We shouldn't get to the point where we don't talk about things to our breaking point. We all have been there. Like, you just have so many pent up emotions, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it all comes out. And how it comes out, it could be different. The next person who cuts you off, all of a sudden, boom, you know what I mean? Like 0 to 100 real quick. You're trying to fight this dude for accidentally cutting you off. You know what I mean? Because it could lead to that, like all this pent up emotion, and then the next thing that just triggers us, boom. That's why we have to talk about these things. We have to talk about our problems, see how we can fix them. Because I've never talked about something and never felt great afterwards. Yeah, it sucks talking about it, because you almost feel like you're exposing yourself, if that makes it. You feel like you're, putting yourself out there to this person, and now it's almost like a fear of being judged, of what they're going to say, or they're going to be like, oh, damn, this dude's, what a pussy, and something like that. If the person you're with is going to continue a pussy like that, no, because, some of you girls, you see a man break down or something like that, and all instantly, like, things change. That's why some guys are afraid to, because that has been a stigma too, like social medias and stuff like that is like when a guy breaks down, all of a sudden they see him less of a man, the macho man, because they broke down and cried. I get it if they're crying for every fucking thing, but you know what I mean. Like if they're talking about what they're, again, like I broke down when finally she started like just peeling these layers. Like all of a sudden, like I don't know where that came from. Absolutely no. Like all of a sudden, tears all over my face. Like. And just like explaining what was wrong with like the issues that I was going on with, and then, again, like I felt so good afterwards. We were in a better place, like her and I at that time, because she was able to open up, and then she was able to try to help, because at the end of the day, she just wanted to help. I never really bash exes or anything like that. Well, I try not to, but I always praise them when they teach me something new or show me a new way, or something like that, and that really helped me open up. Because again, like I said, after I opened up like that, it was just, again, I don't know where those tears came from. I don't know where all those emotions came from. But imagine like all that stuff pent up inside of you, and you don't know what to do. Like that's why people like out of nowhere just pop. Like they reach the breaking point where just the next thing that triggers them that's it. They take off. Like something happens, they break something, they hit somebody, they fight somebody, they do something out of character, just because all this pent up emotion, and there's just no more to, like, you can't hold that inside anymore. Boom. But guess what? After that happens, guess what? We go back to suppressing our feelings, how we're feeling, our emotions and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, it's just a matter of time until that bucket gets filled again. So that's why you have to talk about these things, because how many times are you going to wait? You're going to wait until you get put in prison? You're going to wait until like something bad actually happens? Or even you hurting yourself. Like, some people get to that point where they don't know what to do. And they think that's the best option, which is not. So that's why I'm telling you, fellas, it's okay to talk. And ladies, if you're with this person and you really want him to open up, just remember, it is harder for guys to open up. Don't think that we're just conditioned like that growing up. You guys seen it right, like all the time. And I use the same example all the time. A little boy falls off the bike, man up, don't cry, boys don't cry, man up, stop crying, man up. A girl falls off the bike, same exact scenario. It's okay, baby. Like, you're fine. Like, it's okay. Like, you're gonna be okay. You can cry it out and stuff like that. So you see, like, this is how we grow up, because it's not just when we're kids. Like, all of a sudden, like, when you get older, say something happens, especially in the Hispanic community, we're conditioned to like not show emotions at all. Like, we're supposed to be like that man, like that doesn't show any emotions. Nothing bothers him, But in reality, we're human. Like, things bug us. People stab us in our back, that shit's gonna hurt. We're supposed to act like it didn't, and like, or somebody breaks your heart, you're supposed to act like it's not broken. They're, just get over it, you're fine, man up. Even some friends do that too. Like, they'll just tell you to man up. So, again, yes, create a safe space for whoever you're with, but just know, just because there's no exact safe space. So don't think that, we're going to talk in the bedroom like I told you. You never know where it's going to be. Just make sure. I think the best bet would be make sure nobody's around. Just know it's just you two talking. Just you and that person. No music, no background mute on the TV, nothing. Just talking. Because that way there's no distractions, no nothing. It's just there. They're going to feel awkward. They're going to feel like they want to get out of the situation. You'll see it. I was in the same way too. Like, I just wanted to leave. Like, I just wanted to get out of that awkward conversation because I didn't want to talk about my feelings, So I'd just be like, nothing, I'm fine, don't worry about it and stuff like that. So just know it's going to take a little bit of time, especially if they were raised in a Hispanic community. Again, I don't know if it's the same with different cultures, just because obviously I'm Mexican. I grew up in a Hispanic community. All right, so we have another one here is be a good listener. Listen actively to what your partner has to say without interrupting or judging. Encourage him to express emotions and feelings and validate his experiences. And which is cool because, like, when I read these off, it like brings back things. You know what I mean? Like, to the point where, like, yeah, listening to what you have to say almost like empathizing with you and then trying to help, actively, like, also be like, well, so you're saying this is what was bugging you, you know what I mean? Or like, this is what, but be listening. Don't make the guy repeat the stuff, right? Because the guy's going to be like, it doesn't want to repeat it. If you get it out the first time, don't make him repeat it. Huh? What? You said what? Just be paying attention, actively listen, because of course, like if I said something, I wouldn't want to say it again. Like I already exposed myself and said something, and now you want me to repeat it. So that's why I said, like, pay attention, listen to them. And fellas, just know, like, if the right one is there, they're going to want to listen to you. They're going to want to try to help. People aren't there to judge. And that's another big thing for guys is like we feel like somebody's going to judge us or we're going to be considered not cool anymore because, it's not cool. It's not cool to talk about your emotions. It's not cool to do that type of stuff. So, of course, we don't want to do it. So that's why, fellas, it's cool. It's not cool hurting yourself. It's not cool hurting other people. It's not cool reaching to a point where something happens. The bucket gets filled and all of a sudden, kind of how I mentioned earlier, don't wait until that moment, because what the bucket's going to go full and all of a sudden, like, you're going to react to something's going to trigger you. And then guess what? After that, you're like, fuck, I messed up or something like that. And yeah, you'll feel like a little bit better because all that pent up emotion got out. But then guess what? Since you haven't really taken care of the solution, that bucket just starts getting refilled once again, and then it's only a matter of time until it happens again. And then guess what? It might fill up faster because now you have other issues. Say you did something that put you in prison or got you in trouble with the court. Now you have that stuff you have to deal with, So now this bucket's going to get full a lot quicker. So that's why we have to talk about it. Even if you don't want to talk to your partner, fellas, get someone you can talk to. Talk to your parents. I know sometimes guys don't want to talk to anybody they know. That's why they'll go to somebody who they completely don't know. And it's okay. Do that. Like if you don't feel comfortable enough talking to your partner, if you don't feel comfortable enough talking to a friend or a family member or anything, there's always people. Yes, of course, you're going to have to pay them, but it's worth it. It's worth the investment for that mental health. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you do it? You invest this money to get yourself to a better place mentally and you don't want to do it. People always try to find another good example is like for books, which also help your mental health. Like people will find you recommend a book and they'll find the cheapest version possible. And if they don't find the cheapest version possible to buy it, like paperback, like, you know what I mean? They won't buy it. They'll try everything and anything to try to get a discount on the book. But something else that like they want to go buy, they'll pay the full price. They don't care. But instead of something like a book that's going to help you, not only like stimulate your mind in a different way because you're reading, you're learning something new, you're taking in new information. Like you don't want to invest into that, but you'll invest into like Netflix. You'll pay the full price. You'll pay the full price for like some certain products to go eat. You never ask for it. You never ask for a discount. So don't be afraid of being judged. Okay. So, all right. So another one that we have is use open-ended questions. Instead of asking yes or no questions, use open-ended questions that require more than one word answer. For example, of asking, are you okay? Ask, how are you feeling today? And which makes a lot of sense because you don't want them to answer and then just, that's it. You kind of want them to answer a little bit more, like, what do you think it is that is bugging you? Like, what do you think? Like, is there a specific thing that is bugging you? Like, what is that? Like try to find that, try to ask these questions. There's no right or wrong questions at the end of the day. You can be asking all the open-ended questions you want, but then guess what? Like maybe this person doesn't really respond to that or react to it. Maybe they prefer yes or no questions. Maybe you went further with yes or no questions. But it just totally depends on the person that you're with. That's why it's so difficult. There's no specific book. There's no specific strategy on how to do some of these things. It's more just trial and error, whoever you're with. People respond to different things. But open-ended questions, yes, you will get. It's you might get more information from the person because you're not just reliant on a yes or no answer, you know? If you ask a more open question, there, you know, there's different ways they can answer it, and they don't, it kind of like, you kind of get rid of like, oh, you can't answer this in a yes or no format. You know, you're going to have to do a little bit more talking. So yes, I do remember getting I don't remember exactly the process. It was so long ago, right? That's why I'm saying like it's hard for me to remember exactly some of the things that she was doing because I wasn't paying attention. You know, like of course I do remember some things here and there, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna like take mental notes of this, that way later on I'm gonna be educating people. You know, like no, like again, like I do remember getting asked a bunch of questions. What were they exactly? Again, I do not remember. I do remember snapping back at her like in like responses because I was annoyed that she kept asking me the same things over and over. So, you know, just try different methods with whoever you're trying to get to open up. And trust me, every guy has some pent up emotion. So, fellas, it's okay, man. It's okay. It's cool to talk about your feelings, man. It's not cool to do something stupid. It's not cool to hurt yourself. So just remember that. All right. So next we have share your own experiences. Sometimes sharing your own experience can help your partner feel more comfortable opening up to you. Be honest and vulnerable and your own emotions and thoughts. And this is very true because there's certain things that, I mean, I'm not going to put her on blast or anything like that she told me that happened to her, you know, and then like you can relate with the person, meaning like, no, it's not the same exact experiences, but they were dealing with some issues. You're dealing with some issues. So now there's like some sort of, you know, like relatability, you know, like, oh, okay, maybe like you feel a little bit more open to talk about because now she put her cards on the table and saying like, well, this is what happened to me, you know, like this is what I deal with. This is what, you know, what I have to go through. And now it could put the guy in that position and be like, oh shit, like, well, she's going through some shit too, you know? Maybe, you know, and then like she openly talked about it to you, you know? Because I do remember that. I do remember what she told me, like she went through. Again, we're not going to expose that because I'm not that type of person. But yeah, she told me that she went through some things when she was younger. And so it was more of a like, dang, like she also went through some shit. So I do remember that. I just, how it happened, in what order it happened, I don't remember. Again, I just remember like, I do remember the time that I did break down, you know, which the fucking emotions came out of nowhere, you know. And then I do remember I did break down to a wrong person because they really didn't give a fuck, you know. So that's why another reason, like, because first I broke down to that person, right? And they just they basically told you the same shit, like, hey, like it's all good, man up, man, like and stuff like that. And then that's when you're like, yeah, I shouldn't talk about this shit because now I felt like I looked like a pussy, right? And so that's another reason, like, it's kind of hard because there's some guys like that who would just be like, yo, just man up, bro. Which is not that hard. I mean, not that hard. It's not that easy to just man up, you know. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's bugging me. Oh, it's gone from my mind now. We're good. You know, so that's why you have to pay attention. Like share some experiences if you went through some stuff, or if you know somebody similar, don't put them on blast or anything like that. Just be like, well, I do know, like, I know someone that's going through this, you know, and something like that. And this is what they're doing to get better. This is what they're doing. But again, every person responds to different things. So this could be an option for you. Give this a try. Maybe this will help out in some way. Because I do remember she did share that with me, and it was it did help, to be honest. You know, I do remember at what point, I don't remember. That's why, like, don't ask me like, oh, when did she tell you that? I don't remember. I just do remember she put that out there too, you know, which made me feel more comfortable just like talking about my feelings, because I'm like, oh shit, like she dealing with some stuff too. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there too. Obviously, if this person, you've only been talking to this person for a little bit, no, don't be exposing yourself like that, especially like past traumas or anything like that. Just know that this person is somebody like, this is like a safe space you guys can talk in, and he's not going to go and tell a bunch of people, because like what happens if he ghosts you the next day and then he's going to go tell the whole world, hey, yo, like this happened to so-and-so. And then don't pressure him. It's important to respect your partner's boundaries and not pressure him to opening up. Give him space and time and let him know that you're always there and ready to talk. So this, I agree and I disagree, because for my example, if you keep giving the guy time to open up, they probably never will. I think sometimes you have to pressure the person into, and that's how I was. I was being pressured into it. Yeah, it didn't come in a happy way. It didn't come in like I mentioned before, it came in snaps. But it could also, but she also did not force me to talk about everything all at once. You know what I mean? Like she would get a little bit, we would try to talk about it, and then I just like shut down again, and then we were good. You know what I mean? But then I knew later on, we started talking about it again. She already knew this piece, so she don't have to get that piece out of me. Now she's trying to get more. And what does it happen? Like she kept doing the same thing. Snap at her. Open up a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, and she slowly started getting me to open up. And then finally, I don't know exactly when it was, but I just like broke down after that. Like I reached to a certain point where all these emotions just came out. Like I just started like tears everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like what is like, and you realize you have all these pent up emotions inside of you that they just sitting there, which is not good, because it can mess with your mind. It can mess with your mental health. It can do a lot of things, prevent you from growing as a human being. So that's why like that last one, I agree and I disagree, because in my situation, yeah, I was being pressured a little bit more, and that's what I needed. And that's why I say everybody is different. Everybody reacts to different stuff. Everybody reacts to, like to all these steps. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. Nobody's going to be the same. There's no exact blueprint. If there was, trust me, everybody would be able to talk about their feelings and so on and so forth. But it just takes a little bit of time. So just remember that if you really like this person and really invested into this person, just know it, and they really don't open up, just know it's going to take a little bit of time. They may respond to you in an angry manner, like I did. And she didn't get mad at me either. Like she didn't respond in the same energy, like me snapping and her being snapping back. No, like that. It was just like more, she just waited to see what else would happen, So, give that person some time, pressure him if you have to pressure him. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. But that was how I was able to open up a little bit more. And, some of these techniques might work for you and whoever you're with. But I think the biggest thing is like send this to any guy that is having a hard time opening up. Just know after opening up like that and being able to talk about your emotions and your feelings to people, it's so much better. You don't have all these pent up feelings, all these pent up emotions, anger, sadness, depressed, like all these feelings inside of you. They're not in there, because you're able to talk to them, get to a place where you're happier, because nobody's ever extremely happy. Okay. You can get to different levels of happiness, but not having to deal with these emotions, not having to deal with this pent up like emotions that you have inside, which can later on lead to like, who knows what. Everybody reacts differently. That's why sometimes you see that, damn, I can't believe that person did that. Because I'm sure they had a lot of shit going on and they really didn't talk about it. Because it just takes, after your bucket gets pretty full to a certain point, the next thing that triggers you just go off. You know what I mean? And you've seen like some of these people, you're like, damn, like, that doesn't sound like them. Well, yeah, they probably had a lot of shit going on, and all of a sudden, that was a trigger. Their bucket was full, and they just went off. I do remember that a similar situation happened to this guy that I knew. I knew a guy exactly. I thought I said a friend. A guy that I knew. He super happy with his wife, right? It looked like he was super happy. But I'm sure he had a bunch of issues going on, because then later on, I saw him, he was arrested because he just went to town on his girl. You know what I mean? And no, he did, his wife said that he was never like that. You know, of course he had his issues and stuff like that, would snap, would argue, yell, but never to the point where he would hit her, you know. And then just one day, I'm sure that bucket got full, and the next thing that triggered him, he just blacked out or something, and he just start hitting her, you know. And that's because it could be other things too, don't get me wrong, I'm no doctor here, but a lot of the times when we have, because it's happened to me, like when your bucket gets full and then all of a sudden like something triggers you, and then guess what? You do something stupid. You do something stupid. You react a certain way. You break something. You hit somebody. It just depends on what had triggered you and how you react to it. That's why rage rooms are good. You know, rage rooms will, or break rooms, whatever you want to call them, are good, because get in there and just like, you'll see some people just like, boom, like hit something, and they just start going crazy because it's all these like pent up emotions. They're just like, and then breaking it because they feel like, you know what I mean? Like you get that rush, that adrenaline rush. And so that's why, fellas, it's okay to talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to whoever you're with, parents. And if you feel like you can't really talk to them, because some parents don't understand, you know, because maybe they're not going or haven't been through a similar situation. But if there's always people you can go to, different doctors, different people you can talk to. That way you can try to get to a better space mentally. Because when you can open up about these things, I'm telling you right now, it's a lot better, and it's a lot more like you're able to grow as a human a lot more, not having to deal with these emotions every day. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I remember during that time I was at a point where, you know, when you would wake up and you would just be in that funk, you know, because you're still like trying to deal with some things. And this is a lot less of that, you know? So why wouldn't you want a lot more highs than lows, okay? That's what I'm going for. I want way more highs than I do lows, because of course everybody's up and down. Nobody's ever just highs. You know, a lot of people stay on lows for a long time because they don't make the steps or the efforts to get high again. But you'll go up and down. But I'd rather have more highs than lows, you know, and I do what I can to, you know, I have certain people I can talk to, and even if you have to pay them, trust me, it's better to talk about it. Like, yeah, of course they're there getting paid to listen, but guess what? They're also, the reason people keep going to them is because they actually help, you know? But since they're sitting there trying to help you with their problem, they're obviously spending a lot of time with you. So, of course, they want to get compensated for it because they have a life to live too. So, I want to thank you guys for listening. Hopefully this was able to help somebody in some sort of way, help guys open up a little bit more, help ladies, help you push your man to open up a little bit more and let him know that it's okay to open up. It's okay to break down. Trust me, I've done it. Don't think that you have to be this macho man at all times. Don't think it's too cool to do all this stuff. No, living with that attitude is going to be worse, because then later on, something's going to happen. Something's going to trigger you. You're going to be fed up, you know, and a bunch of things can happen, you know. And some of these things can also lead to cheating too, because they want to feel like maybe that's what hooking up with somebody else is going to fulfill them in a certain way, and it doesn't. You know, it's more like they still have issues, you know. But we always try to find different things to try to think that it's going to fix us, which is not. And at the end of the day, it's the biggest fix is just chat with somebody, having a talk with somebody, because you rarely get to open up to somebody like that, right? Like, yeah, you can go meet somebody, talk about how your weekend was, your week. Oh yeah, I did this, we were doing that, it was all groovy and great. But you're never knowing, like, nah, man, like I had woken up, I was kind of struggling in the morning because like I had this on my mind. You know, like you never talk like that to like certain people, especially guys. Girls maybe, but guys really don't do that because they're too cool. It's not macho to do that. So hopefully I was able to help you guys. And if you guys like the podcast, please share it, like it, and if you get a chance, I'm gonna link it down below. Go and vote for the podcast to win best podcast of local, like here locally, and then it also got voted for best photographer. So if you can vote for them, for the both of them for me, please, I would really do appreciate it. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Self-respect when you out of line, you put yourself in